James stared into the darkness of the void, his eyes adjusting to the dark after being around the fire. "I miss seeing the stars," Maya whispered as she looked up. James' sight raised to see the canopy above them. It was thick enough to block the sky, even the light from the moon barely able to pierce through the leaves. Due to the moonlight, the leaves would have a faint glow. "Yeah, it's one of the nice things about this place. If we weren't in the forest, we'd be able to see the countless stars," James said. "Even though I know that it's a simulation, I still enjoy watching them," Maya sighed. "It'll be a while before we can see them." Gently moving his shoulder close to Maya's, James gave a slight nudge. Maya nodded, taking a spoonful of the stew. Picking a chunk of the meat, James ate it. He knew that it was stressful, not just because the forest gave a claustrophobic vibe. Many adventurers talked about it, the fact that once entering the forest and spending enough time, the surroundings sometimes didn't feel open, like being outdoors did. Those unfamiliar with the surroundings of the forest would feel cramped after not seeing the sky for a long enough duration. With his eyes adjusting to the darkness, James could see a little further into their surroundings, but beyond was still the pitch-black unknown. Sometimes, staring too long into the darkness made him imagine the reflective eyes of monsters, but would only be for a second. "How are you doing?" James asked. Maya turned her head towards James before looking back to the forest. Motioning for them to begin walking around the camp, the two started walking. Raising the bowl to his lips, he took a sip, appreciating the warmth. The armor they wore kept them warm to a degree, but the nights were still a little chilly. Thinking about how even a veteran like Celine had a breakdown, "I wonder if the same thing will happen to us," Maya said. Their footsteps caused the occasional crunch as he stepped on leaves. "I think it only happened due to Celine being an elf. You know, how they're more in tune with nature. I'm sure that what happened to her isn't something that we need to worry about." James tried to comfort Maya. Taking a deep breath, Maya grabbed a piece of meat and ate some, like she was hoping the food would cheer her up. "Even if it does affect us, we have to remember that whatever's in this place is only simulated. Compared to what's out in the world, this is just training for us." James hoped that the reminder would put things into perspective. "That's what makes it worse," Maya said. "The fact that we can know that whatever's outside the underground city is magnitudes worse just makes it that much scarier." James couldn't help but agree with that sentiment. The two continued walking around the camp, while occasionally looking to the forest to spot any monsters that may be lurking. In the back of his mind, James wondered if the forest wolf that had revealed itself was out in the forest. Since he hadn't been by himself since the sun went down, he didn't have an opportunity to encounter the curious monster. He wondered what was different about the monster for it to behave in such a strange manner. Sipping the last of the stew, James held the empty bowl to his side. Turning his head in the direction of the camp, he could see only Celine and Raul by the fire. "I guess the others took a chance to get some rest," he thought to himself.